What's the we've just touched on tons of the variations, the Coke with lime and so on. But what's the original classic marine policy? To go to the most basic one you could imagine, what would that be?
I suppose the most basic one is insuring vessels against perils of the seas. Mm-hmm. So physical damage to the vessel caused by events out of their control. Yeah. And we will put them back in the position they were before the peril occurred.
Quite literally, ship sinks.
Quite literally. So at a basic level, it's rare actually, or rarer for vessels to just sink. They're actually quite difficult to sink now.
One would hope, I guess.
Yeah, but quite often you get, what we see a lot is engine damage leading to vessels being disabled in the high seas, and then they might have an event after that. They might ground, or significantly recently on container vessels, fires are a real issue. So I would say fire and machinery damage are really the large, the causes of, or the main causes of events. We see a fair amount of collisions. Whenever I speak to friends who aren't in the industry, they can't understand how these things run into each other, but they do a lot. So that's always quite interesting because then you've got the debate over who's at fault. So the lawyers get excited at that point as well.
I bet.
But yeah, there are, I'd say, the instances of a vessel just sinking are actually quite rare, but it's normally as a result of another event.
Because I guess things, I mean, again, we're doing such a wide range of things now. Even just looking at a ship, right? Something could happen in port. I learned this expression a long time ago when I was doing some law, but bottom fouling.
Bottom fouling,
is a thing that can happen to a ship that's left in port too long.
Absolutely. Right? So they have what's called anti-fouling paint in order to try and mediate against that. But yes, if it's stationary for too long, you might look to a reactivation survey or something like that to make sure this thing's seaworthy apart from anything else. So and things get caught in the propellers a lot. And this is just on everyday vessels. It happens all the time. So.
And then I guess even just staying in port, you can have things like natural catastrophes coming in and affecting vessels. You can have one that came up a long time ago, steve doors and leaving doors open when the ship goes off.
Yes, that happens, and that can happen both on the vessel and off the vessel, as you say. So we've got to be careful about aggregation, certainly, although most of our policies have worldwide trading. So there's, we can track where these things are, but there's very little we can do if there are 5 of them in one port at the same time. We just need to understand that as underwriters.
Makes sense.
Yeah, certainly human error you alluded to is one of the largest. There's an element of human error in almost every claim we see. Yeah,
and I guess human intentional acts as well, like piracy and war and
absolutely.
So
war is the other, apart from all the physical fortuitous damages. War is the other main sort of line of coverage that we deal in, and obviously that's quite a pertinent topic at the moment. The Russia-Ukraine crisis threw up probably the world's biggest ever war loss, because you had geographically a trapped sea effectively, and lots of those vessels were unable to leave, so became total losses by that fact, even if they hadn't been damaged. So that was quite an interesting claim to, and that's still going on, and that really tested the market. Both from an underwriting perspective and from a legal perspective, actually. It caused everyone to look very carefully at the conditions they were offering. And now you've got obviously the crisis in Yemen and the Red Sea, which is changing by the day, actually.
Yeah.